Hey, this is Phil Endris from Baseball Card Exchange. Thanks for tuning in again to the Baseball Card Exchange podcast. We have a very exciting show in store for you today, and it's talking about the investment value of unopened wax. We're going to tackle a topic that we're often asked about it, and Steve, we're glad you're here again. You're the leader in unopened wax, and your knowledge is quite amazing. What I've noticed over the past few years doing shows, I will have people come up to me all of the time, and I know you get these questions as well. They ask, hey, Phil, we really love Baseball Card Exchange. We love buying from you. Can you give me some hints or some advice on what I should be investing in when it comes to unopened wax? So first point, unopened wax has an investment value. We've seen that over the past 30 years. And then secondly, people want to know, well, what should I invest in today? What are good items to buy? So, Steve, I'll bring you in here. Tell me a little bit about what you've seen over the past 20, 30 years of you being in the business as far as the investment of unopened wax and how that value has increased over that time.
I would probably say that, the market is just 10, 20-fold on unopened material, whether it be, rare stuff, middle stuff, early stuff, late stuff. It's just all, highly grown in value.
Yeah. And that goes, again, we alluded to this in another episode. Supply is down, demand is up. People want this. They're nostalgic about it. And so I know as a collector of sports cards initially, when I came in contact with Baseball Card Exchange, I really started to enjoy unopened wax. Now, while I don't have a large unopened wax collection, I do have some. Mm-hmm. And I bought these boxes at pretty low prices. Now I look back today and I go, oh my gosh, it's worth that much? Unbelievable. I mean, we have 2X, 3X, 4X, 5X the value in a short period of time. And so myself, I've seen just an explosion of value in unopened wax over the past 10, 12 years.
Oh, yeah. Even some of the stories of an astronomical return are in the mid-'80s. Football.
Yes.
It was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Collectors loved it. But
Closeouts.
Mm-hmm. You could buy the stuff for $2 a box. Every once in a while, when a case of 84 football comes in, we'll open up the lid, and you'll see a card dealer from the time who had a sale insert in it.
Okay.
And you could see 81, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 football cases, 20-box cases for $49 delivered.
Unbelievable.
With the shipping delivered. $49. And now a box of 86 is that case is $60,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be had for $49. And I bet you it wasn't a very good seller.
No.
Because nobody wanted anything other than baseball.
No. And we see a lot of XL boxes in the 80s with football,
yes.
Especially.
That's how the dealers were able to sell them so cheap, is because they were returns to Topps.
Mm-hmm. And
then Topps sold them a second time really cheap.
Yes.
So they were able to probably sell them for $49 delivered and still make a few dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. And so anything really, pre-1990 in a lot of regards is usually worth more, and most of the time considerably more. Thousands more than the cost when released.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Even the junk wax era now, that we call it 87, 88, 89, 90 is starting to get to that area where it's worth more than it was when it was released.
Basketball, hockey especially.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So with the investment value of unopened wax, we at Baseball Card Exchange, we're very shy and we're very cautious about giving investment advice.
Right.
And not only that, we don't even like to talk too much about it being an investment. But the facts are the facts. It has increased in value considerably over the past 20 to 30 years. Can you give us sort of an idea of some of the, if you don't feel comfortable saying what people should invest in, what are some of the more rare boxes or boxes that you think, man, there's not a lot of them out there and they still can be had at a affordable price?
There was a time where 70s, early 80s, unopened material was available, and it was cheap, and it wasn't sellable. It wasn't easy to sell it, and it was cheap. And it was people in our age area who collected that stuff as kids for fun.
Right.
Late 70s, early mid 80s. And now the group of people from that era are in their 50s, and some of them, make some good money. And what I've seen over the decades is them going back now. Maybe
Yes.
for nostalgia purposes.
Right.
They just love to open it, remember what it was like opening those packs at the store. But that has really grown in value. I mean, obviously, the cream of the crop, the older stuff, has always been huge. But the 70s and 80s has grown because, like I mentioned, people who now can afford stuff from that era who were our age when they bought it.
Great.
I think there's probably some more growth in there.
Okay.
Because more and more people are going to, it's affordable.
Right.
It's reasonably affordable. People do open it because, that was the boom for guys our age. And so there's still some growth in it, I believe. And like I said in an earlier podcast, they're not making more.
Yeah.
And it's being opened.
And let's be clear, Steve's not wrong about a lot of things, but he's been wrong several times when asked the question of, do you think that this value is going to go up? Do you think that this could...
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm afraid to always give an answer. I'm afraid of being wrong, telling somebody the wrong advice. But in another episode, we talked about how a decade ago at the National Convention, I did an interview, and they asked me about this, and I said, no, it's peaked. Unopened has peaked in value. And maybe it was because I see so much of it.
Right.
And it jumped where I'm like, boy, this is really crazy how much it's gone up. It can't do this anymore.
Right.
And the following year at the National, boy, was I wrong.
Yes.
And then the following year at the National, I believe it was 6 or 7 years in a row, I said it just can't go up anymore. And it kept increasing. And even since I was wrong then, it's still increasing.
Yeah.
So
we'd be remiss to not address COVID and what happened during that time. We saw a complete spike in
Yes.
just about every single product
Yes.
that was out there. And so, some of them have come back to reality.
Yes.
But the floor has never went back down to what it was
I don't
pre-COVID.
believe so, no.
And, just in the past 5 years, I've been the buyer here for a little over 5 years. The items that we're buying back from customers that we sold to 5 years ago that are selling to us for a good profit.
Yes, oh yeah. Yep.
And still leaving a little bit of room where we can sell it again.
Yeah, exactly.
So unbelievable what Unopened Wax has done in the past 10, 20 years. And as you alluded to, 70s, early 80s, they're just not making any more of them. And I don't see 70s all that much at shows. I really don't. And so when someone comes with a 70s wax box, it's always like, oh, cool.
Yeah, pre-78 has become very difficult. 78 and 79 is available. I think Topps offered more later in the year, very cheap prices. Mm-hmm. So dealers, were able to get it and then kind of laid around for a long time. Pre-78 is a lot more difficult. Right. And the further you go back, the more difficult it gets.
The more difficult it gets. So, if we just follow the trends, if we follow the facts and see what's happened in the past and sort of apply it to today, I think we would be safe to say that anything post 1980 right now is probably a solid investment, and even early 80s to that to some degree. If it follows the trends of yesteryear, then we're going to see some type of increase over the next 5-10 years.
Yes, I would assume. Like you said, it keeps getting opened, so there's less of it available, and it's affordable.
Yes.
Compared to other boxes, which to most people, it's out of their reach.
Yeah, and if we even look at some of the cheaper items, what we call junk wax, 87, 88, 89, 90, they're not junk wax anymore.
No longer. I mean, $40, $50, $60 a box on some of it.
Right.
Frank Thomas rookies being pursued. Bonds, McGuire, guys like that.
Yeah.
So 91 with Chipper Jones, people are buying it, ripping it, holding it, saving it. I mean, it used to be a $2 item when at its worst. It was $2, $3, $4. Mm-hmm. So now that's increased tenfold also.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't give away a 1988 Donruss box sometimes.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't even want that. This is what I would hear a lot. I don't want to carry that around the show. If you're at a show.
Or if we went to a house and bought it out, if we offered $40 a case and kind of hoped they would say, I'd rather keep it.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there's been times where you and I have talked about a big deal, and we always think about logistics.
Yes.
And so, a 26-foot Penske, if you will, is a 10,000-pound truck.
Right.
And so if we know that we're going to be well over 10,000 pounds and we have 20 cases of 1988 Don Russ that are part of this deal, it may not be worth, or at one time, it may not be worth us taking those and getting another truck. And so
there's even been instances where the seller forced us to take it. He said, you have to take everything and get out of here. And we'd be well over the weight limit. We would stop at a truck stop and throw the cases into the dumpsters just to get under the weight limit.
Just to get under the weight limit.
Yep.
So it's amazing what has happened in the past several years as it would relate to unopened wax product. And of course, I think there's another area that has added to the collectibility of even, say, low-value boxes. And that is a collectibility that Baseball Card Exchange has really pioneered, and that is the from a sealed case collecting.
Correct.
So you have boxes, 1990 Topps baseball. I mean, from a sealed case, they're considerable boxes. And not only that, you go back to, 84, 85, 82, 81, and you're going to see a premium in from a sealed case wax boxes.
Yeah, that was actually my employee Rick's idea one day, is there should be more value to an item that hasn't been handled.
Yes.
We all know that people will take packs and press down on them, and they see a Ripken rookie and they'll take that pack out of the box, replace it with another pack. Mm-hmm. So wouldn't it be interesting if we could tell people these items haven't been touched by human hands?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to cello and rack pack, where people can clearly see on the top and the bottom and take those packs out.
Right.
So from a sealed case is and I think that is going to be even more important in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, with that said, we're talking about investment purposes, investment value of unopened wax. I would think that from a sealed case is going to go up continually in the future.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe recently we've heard the advent of CT scanning.
Oh, right, yeah.
And, I don't know how advanced it is. I don't know how good it is. I don't know how much it works. I don't know if the value is there to do it. But from a sealed case box, we know hasn't been filtered through or pilfered through.
Correct.
And I don't know if they could do a whole box. I'm not sure, but, we'll find out in the future.
Absolutely.
But, if you have from a sealed case boxes, you pretty much have a good idea that they haven't been handled, haven't been gone through, haven't been searched for, the key players or whatever.
Yeah. So overall, unopened wax, when you get into vintage unopened wax, they're simply just not making any more of it. And so with that said, as we sort of, you gave on a previous episode, you likened it to real estate. They're not making any more land.
Nope.
We've seen land go up and it will continue to go up. That's sort of our thoughts with unopened wax and certainly in the from a sealed case area. One other thing that we haven't really talked about, when we say unopened wax, but really what we mean is unopened product. I have seen a spike personally in rack packs and cello packs.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
In the past 20 to 30 years. Do you care to talk about that for a moment?
I think rack packs, very popular, especially when you have a major star showing on top. I think collectors enjoy the attractiveness of having the original item with a Mike Schmidt on top.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Another reason people like rack pack is the people who do like to grade. Now, it's a very risky proposition to be opening unopened and expect to, do well.
Right.
But the cards in rack pack is usually the best condition.
Okay.
No gum, no wax, didn't move around or shift much. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason rack packs are very popular.
Okay. Yeah. And I've really seen the collectors of rack packs have several different methods to their madness, if you will. I was a Mike Schmidt guy. You brought that up. I loved him. 548 home runs, played for a team that I didn't love, but always had respect. And he destroyed the team that I did love, the
Chicago Cubs, yeah.
4 home runs in a game in, 1978, something like that.
The most home runs against any team he faced was the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
He had more homers with the,
That's right.
against the Cubs than any of the other teams.
Just destroyed them.
Oh, yeah.
I think the day he hit 4 home runs, didn't Kingman hit 3?
Yes, I believe that was the double-digit 20-something on the game.
Yeah. So, with that said, you have people that are collecting a rack pack because they need that year. Then you have people that are collecting rack packs because they have their favorite team on top.
Yes, yep.
So it could be Thad Bosley of the Chicago Cubs, and they're like, "Oh, we want that," or Rick Ruschel, or whoever. But then you have people that are collecting their favorite player on top.
Yep. For different years, they want them too. They want the run.
They want the run.
And then, special teams. Like I have a couple guys, they say when you have 84 Detroit Tigers on top of rack packs, anybody, the commons, I collect those.
Right.
And, there was a special history to the Tigers that year.
Yeah, they won
with
the
35-5 beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. So, 68 Tigers on top. Obviously, 68 rack packs are rare. Anything on top is good.
Wow.
But there's a couple guys who like 68 Tigers on top because, again, that was a special season.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. So, with rack packs, cello packs, and, honestly, I've really seen an increase, maybe even percentage-wise, just a hair more, correct me if I'm wrong, with rack pack boxes than I have with wax boxes in the 80s.
Probably. Yep.
Yeah.
Again, condition. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be gum damaged cards, wax damaged cards.
Right. And especially from a sealed case, because
by
then
far.
you have an opportunity to
get
touch
those key players on top that somebody might have kept
exactly
back when they sold, the rack packs or whatever.
Yep. So overall, we're not Charles Schwab. We are not financial advisors, but we feel secure enough and confident enough to say unopened wax is, if we're looking at the trends of the past, we feel pretty comfortable saying that it'll probably continue to increase because supply is very low and demand is becoming higher and higher every day. So with that said, let's do our shameless plug. We have a lot of unopened wax. That's what we do here. Please visit us at bbce.com if you have any questions, concerns, and also if you're looking to sell anything. We'd love to hear from you as well. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks again for Steve for giving his knowledge, sharing his knowledge, and we will see you next time.